Hello, this is the second episode of a Mario Kart 8 custom track tutorial series. If you looked behind me, you may have noticed this isn't the same track as what I did last episode, which was Martinsville, which I still have a model over here, and I'm still planning to use this. You may wonder, oh, so why'd you change the track? Did you realize that a basic circle's boring and you're not gonna do that? That's not the reason. I'm still planning to use this for the modeling episode, which is the episode where I'm gonna, actually make this look like a track and, not just a basic test circle. But I just didn't feel like for this specific episode it was gonna be good to use that track because a lot of people are gonna want to use some crazy anti-gravity, and that wouldn't cover that. Nor would it cover trick ramps, glider ramps, boost panels, so many other things. And I just didn't think it would be a good fit for this episode. Now you may be wondering, at the productions, what are we actually going to cover in this episode? Well, in this episode, we'll cover how to get textures and how to import this model track you've made into Mario Kart 8 and get it working. Now, the first thing we're going to want to do is get some textures for this track so it's not just one gray, boring color. Now, to do that, we're going to need to go to our downloads folder, where we've downloaded all the files, and find our Switch Toolbox download, and then extract all the files and run Switch Toolbox. I already have downloaded Switch Toolbox and installed it, so I'm just going to use that. Once you have opened Switch Toolbox, you're going to want to go to the top left corner and click on File, then go down to Open, and then you're going to need to locate your game dump. Once you have found your Mario Kart 8 dump, you're going to want to go to Content and Course. This will take you to all these course files. I will put on screen a key to what each one of these files refer to. For example, this is DK Jungle, this is Music Park, and this is Sherbet Land. Some are a little less obvious, like GU Menu, GU Horror House, and a couple other ones. For me personally, I'm going to go to GU Airport, and what you're going to want to do now is click on this SCS file. Now you have opened the SCS file, it should bring up something that looks like this. To move around, you hold right click and scroll out until you can see the track model. Doesn't have to be super precise because we're not here to steal anything like the models yet. What we're actually going to do is click on the plus sign right next to the model file, then click on textures, and then we're going to look for the road texture. Once you've found a texture you like, make sure it's highlighted in blue and select it, and then right click on it and hit export. Go to downloads or wherever you want to save the file, make sure it's somewhere important. And right now it says BFTX. You gotta change that because that's a internal Mario Kart file, so change that to PNG or some other file type that you like. But we're not done here yet. While you can just import a basic album, that won't look particularly good. To make it look a little bit better in game, we're going to export the normal map right here. Should be right below and should be the same name, just with an RM at the end. And again, change it to PNG and do the same thing as before. And there should be a third specular map. Once you've exported all three of these files, we are basically done in this tool. Now we can exit out of Switch Toolbox, as we're not going to need this for the rest of the episode, and go back to Blender, where we're going to now need to set up the texture we had before. So to do that, click on the main road, or one of your roads if you have split road paths or other things and jumps. Click on this and go down to Material Properties, which looks like a circle ball. Click on New. Click on Base Color. Click on Image, and then Open. And then you need to go to wherever you saved the file. I saved mine in Downloads, so I'm going to go there and click on Road Album. Now, it won't appear for you. It's not going to appear, and you may wonder, why didn't the road texture change? Well, that's because you need to set this to material preview, the same texture as this one. Just click up here, and then it should display the road texture. Do that for the other road piece by clicking on the orb on the side and selecting the same material, and it would work, and it should be done perfectly fine. You don't need to do anything from now on. Now we've done that, we're going to now need to set up our trick ramps. So to do this, we're going to need to click on the road that has a trick ramp, if you have one, and go into edit mode, select this two-face mode, and then click on where you want the trick ability to start, because Mario Kart 8 won't just automatically decide at the end of the road that is trickable. Like, if I went into, like, switch toolbox and said this road is trickable, everything would be trickable. You could trick here, you could trick here, you could trick here, you could trick here. You don't want that, so you need to set up a section of road to be trickable. So just select the section you want to be trickable, right here, here, and just select it, and then hit P once you've selected the area you want to separate, and hit separate by selection. This will separate it into a new object. Then do that for the other object. Now you've separated both, you're going to need to name them. So this will be trick, and this will be glider. Now that you've done that, make sure if the road has the same texture as the other road piece, just to join them. It'll be easier when we get into Track Studio. So, and just name it road, which we did last episode, but since I started a new project, it's not saved over everything. Now we've done that, the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to duplicate the model. Not like this road path thing over here or this one. We don't need to duplicate that. We're going to need to create a new collection again, and we're going to double click on it and type in KCL, or collision. This is going to be the collision model. What we have here is the visual model, so what will be displayed in game, and what we're going to do is just duplicate the model in its entirety into the collision model. So once we've done that, we are pretty much done in Blender for the rest of the episode. There is actually one more thing we need to do in Blender before we can go over to Track Studio, and that is to hide the collision model in Blender and then hit A, File, Export, DAE, and then go to the top right where it says Selection, and then save the file wherever you would like, and click Export Collider. Then go to and hide the visual collection, the visual model collection, and unhide the KCL, and hit A, File, Export, DAE, and save it to your downloads with a different name, and make sure Selection Only is also selected. Now we are truly done in Blender for this episode, so just hit X to exit out of the program. Now we need to open up Track Studio. And the first thing we're going to do in this tool is we're going to go up to the top left and click on File. Then we're going to hover over New, and then click on Custom Track. This is a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe map. If you tick it, it'll be an 8 Deluxe map. If you don't tick it, it'll be for Mario Kart 8. Next, click on this little minus icon, and then you're going to need to find your DAE file wherever you saved it. Now click OK. And now you're in Track Studio. And of course, this tool has a different moving scheme. So in this tool, W, U, A, S, and D move you around. The spacebar moves you up, Shift and spacebar moves you down, scroll wheel up will scroll you in, scroll wheel down will scroll you out, and right click will move the camera around. So the first order of business is to click on this road, and then click on textures, and then import texture, and find all three of your textures that you have. Have normal, specular, and album. For the album texture, you don't have to do anything. For the normal texture, you have to set this format file and set it to BC1 unorm. And for airport, BC4 unorm is fine, and in my experience. Now click on the road again, double click on here, and click and select your road texture. Then and double click on this one to select your normal texture, and double click to select your specular map. Now you've done that, hit Ctrl S and save it in a new folder. And go over to map editor and do the exact same thing. And finally, do the same thing for the collision model. The next thing we're going to want to do is go up to the top left and click on map editor. Okay, now here comes the fun part. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to the middle of our map and click on this start line cube thing. This defines where the player will spawn. So if I had this in underground, that would just crash the game. So you have to move this to wherever the model is, or wherever you want the start line to be. So to move that, you're going to hit G on the keyboard, and then you can thoroughly move this wherever you want. Okay, the next thing we're going to need to do is go up to this top panel and click on this rotate icon. And this will allow us to rotate this object to wherever we want. Once you have the alignment to your liking, you can now click off the object. Now that you've clicked off the object, you want to go to the top left and click on the arrow next to paths, and then click on the eye icon next to lap paths. Now go up to the top and click on collision editor, then right click on course.kcl, and then find your DAE collision file, and then click on material by meshes. Now, what you're doing here is setting what properties your road will have. So if I set this to boost or dash, this would mean the entire road would be a dash panel. If I set this to item road, it would do something else. If I set this to glider activator, it would activate a glider. If I set it to wall, you would pull a Michael Jackson. If you set it to dummy, you would do something else. If you set it to off-road, it would be off-road. Yeah. For right now, just set it to road asphalt. And then for the glider ramp, if you have one in your scene, click and then find glider. Click on this. Then for trick, you don't need to do anything here. You need to go up to special and click trickable. If you have more objects like more trick ramps, do the same for them. If you have boost panels, obviously click on dash pad. And if you want to have a fallout zone, you can also do that. And now click apply. Okay, now we're going to need to go back to the map editor, and we're going to need to click on this arrow icon, go to paths, and then click the eye icon next to lap paths. Now that you've done that, make sure lap paths is selected. You should see this icon says lap paths up here. The next thing you're going to want to do is hit Alt and click where you want your start finish line to be. And then rotate the object, and then go to this properties path and click lap check and change this number to 0. So when Mario drives through this lap check, it will, well, add a lap to the game's counter, and so you'll be on lap 2, your lap 3, and finish varies. And now make sure this is selected, hit Alt and click over here, and you can scale down the object as well to your liking, making so nothing's out of bounds or there's no checkpoints clipping. So what this does is this lap check over here tells Mario Kart 8 where is the out of bounds. So if you're anywhere in this section, you will be in bounds. So you may wonder, what if I just decided, oh, I want to cut this corner or something, I want to skip over here, I don't know. Oh, you just cut the corner and find an ultra shortcut. Well, to counteract that, you have this checkpoint box here, and change this number to 0, and that will make it a checkpoint. There are a couple other things to note while you're doing this. If these two objects overlap, this will cause a game crash, so just make sure these objects are not overlapping. And also, for the anti-gravity sections, you want to have a key checkpoint for where you want the anti-gravity to start. I'll explain why in the future. Okay, and when you get to your final lap checkpoint that you want to connect this one to this one, deselect both of them, click on this one and then hold shift to this one and hit F. I would also just like to mention that if your game crashes, this is the reason 99% of the time. There is normally no other reason why your game would crash. I mean, off the top of the head, even if you forget to add enemy paths, that won't crash your game immediately. It won't crash it on boot up. If your course is crashing on boot up, 90% of the time this is the issue. Okay, and the next thing you're going to do is we're going to click on enemy paths and click the eye icon next to it. Now we are going to want to do the same thing as we did for lap paths. So at the start of the lap, hit Alt and then click, and then Alt and click again, and then hold Shift on both these points and hit F. So this will be the temporary enemy path that the bot races will follow. And technically that's it. You don't need to do anything else for Mario Kart 8 Custom Track to not crash the game. And this is technically all you need. Now obviously we're going to be doing a lot more because we need to set up anti-gravity, gravity camera paths, glider paths, item paths. But generally this is technically all you need for the game not to crash on boot up. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is click on item paths, click the eye icon next to it, and click from enemy paths. And now we're done with the item paths, we don't need to do anything else. Now we're going to click the eye icon next to lap paths and hide it again, and then we're going to click on gravity paths and click the eye icon next to gravity paths. Once gravity paths is selected, hit from lap paths and find where you want your gravity path to start, and find where you want it to end, and delete the lap paths in between it. And once you've done that, click on gravity camera paths and click from gravity paths. Then hide both gravity camera paths and gravity paths. For the glider, do the same thing as the rest. Click on it and click the eye icon next to it, then alt click where you want the glider to start, and then hit E on your keyboard to extrude it into the air, and just make a general path, and when you want the glider to end, put it back onto the racetrack. Now we've done that, go to all three of the menus we've used and hit Control S, Control S, and Control S. Now we've done that, we can exit out of Track Studio, and you can now go to the first link in the description, and it will take you to cemu.info. Now scroll down and click on download latest version, and then download the zip file. Now if you're wondering what cemu is an emulator to emulate Wii U games, so you don't have to have a modded console to test out your mods. Once you have cemu downloaded and installed, hit Windows R and then type in %appdata%, and then hit OK, and it should bring up this file here. Click on cemu, then graphics packs, and then right click and add a new folder, and you can name this whatever you want. Then find wherever you saved your course files, which mine was in the downloads folder of my PC. Once you've found them, Control C to copy them, and then go click on content, course, GDS TikTok clock. Okay, double click here and then paste. I would also like to mention this is the course name of the course you want to replace. So if I wanted to replace Mario Circuit, I would do GU_first circuit. Okay, or something like that for each course. So for example, this would replace tick-tock clock. And you may wonder, why do you have to replace a course? And now open up cemu and then go to options, graphics packs, Mario Kart 8, and find wherever you saved your graphics pack, and then open Mario Kart 8. If your course crashes, I just feel like I need to reiterate, 99% of the time it is the lap paths. Occasionally it can be material settings. Anyways, that's been the second episode of a Mario Kart 8 custom track tutorial series done.